So I just wanted to make a quick point. I don't know if the concessions in this article have actually happened, but yeah, I don't think they have. But just try and watch the video if you can, and we'll figure it out together. So in this segment, we're going to be talking about the EU offering to make concessions, but patience is wearing thin. So I found this quite interesting. We're going to be, as I've painfully mentioned before, a lot of coverage on the Northern Ireland Protocol. So if you like that sort of thing, then subscribe because there's a ton of content coming out about it. So Brussels is preparing to make concessions over the Northern Ireland Protocol, but has warned Frost ahead of a key meeting that the EU's patience is wearing thin over the UK government's repeat failure to fulfil its obligations. Now, I don't know if these compromises will actually happen because of these two stories that are more recent, which one basically says that the EU-UK talks resolve Northern Ireland crisis end without any kind of agreement, and there are, EU-UK talks offer small signs of compromise in the making. So it doesn't look too promising, but we'll roll with this article anyways. We'll treat it as, a good faith compromise, I guess. So construction on border control posts at ports in Northern Ireland has been halted in defiance of previous agreements. So this again is the UK breaking the Good Friday Agreement, the Northern Ireland Protocol. It was claimed by EU officials on Monday, while promises to establish tracing systems to ensure that British-made goods do not enter the Republic of Ireland had not been kept. So we're not offering the tracing systems to make sure goods aren't entering the Republic of Ireland via... I shouldn't have said that. We haven't put the tracing in place to make sure that goods don't enter Ireland from Northern Ireland. So there's that. And we haven't actually put up the border post that we promised to put up. So it shows you once again that we have breached the Northern Ireland Protocol. So great stuff here, guys. It was further suggested that the UK's preference for confrontation over finding solutions to ease tensions in Northern Ireland offered Brussels little hope that Frost was serious about making the post-Brexit arrangements work. Frost's counterpart in Brussels, Maros Sefcovic, warned the UK not to unilaterally extend the grace period in the Northern Ireland Protocol beyond its expiry date at the end of this month, which is about chilled meats and stuff. He wrote in The Telegraph, if the UK takes further unilateral action, the EU will not be shy in reacting swiftly, firmly and resolutely to ensure that the UK abides by its international law obligations. I mean, you've acted really slow so far, so I can't wait to see, because it looks like they're going to, the UK will extend this grace period. That's what it looks like anyways. So Frost we mentioned that. Despite the bubbling frustration, Brussels will this week put pressure on the UK to change tack by publicly offering to go beyond EU law to ensure the undisrupted supply of British approved goods. So medicine. So what you're seeing here is the EU saying that, look, we're going to offer you a deal that we haven't offered any other country, which is basically that UK medicines will be able to go into Northern Ireland, no problem. Even if they haven't been authorised by the, the European Medicines Agency or whatever they're called, the ones that do the regulations for it, they will allow these meds to go in. And that takes a lot of trust, because that means you're relying on the British regulator to be able to do a good job, which we generally know the UK Medicines Agency is pretty good, especially better than the American one. But anyways, there will also be a derogation from EU law to permit people with guide dogs to travel unencumbered by paperwork to the rest of the UK, and solutions to avoid rabies and tapeworm controls for those returning their pets from Great Britain. So again, this is good stuff here, because stuff here is red meat for the tabloids. We've got an article from the Express we're going to cite in a minute, which says that, the pesky EU stopping life-saving medicines going from GB to NI because they're bureaucrats and they hate us because we're winning. Yeah, that's what the whole point of this is, to stop these sorts of headlines getting out, because it does make the EU look bad, even though it shouldn't, because Northern Ireland is part of the EU's the EU single market and customs union for goods. So even though that's the case, the EU are making compromises here. It says we are investing considerable energy to find solutions with the UK, and we have done so for months, said an EU official. The EU has been patient, but the EU's patience is wearing thin, and if this continues, we will have to consider all the tools and all the options available to us. So that's basically sanctions and tariffs. They're saying that's what that little paragraph means. So what we can gather from this is the EU are making concessions on medicines and with regards to guide dogs and certain other pets, which is good stuff. And if the UK wanted these concessions, they would have gone from the start. But then again, you could argue that the UK might have had to give something up for these concessions. But anyways, this is good stuff here from the EU, I suppose. It says here, but moves open to Brussels if that fails to transpire. Talking about talks and things like that. If this fails to transpire, include referring the UK to binding arbitration, which could lead to financial sanctions or the suspension of parts of the Brexit withdrawal agreement. The EU have already said that they're ready to start taking apart bits of the TCA, the Trade and Cooperation Agreement. So basically, they're hoping that the Americans can help, kind of put the UK back to the negotiating table in good faith and get some sort of concessions. But if not, then we're going to arbitration, boys. Or ladies, or whatever you are. In recent weeks, there have been loyalist violence from those who claim their British identity is being brought into question by the arrangements. Over the weekend, so whenever this was written, Frost wrote in the Financial Times that the repercussions... I mean, I really hope public officials stop writing in paywalled newspapers. It really annoys me. That the repercussions of the protocol on the flow of trade between Britain and Northern Ireland has indeed been underestimated, and that a change in approach and some common sense was required from Brussels. Frost, when you signed an agreement that you now say you didn't expect problems with and you underestimated it, was that common sense when you done that? Because I don't think it was. But he's trying to argue that we need a change in approach, and he's right. We need a temporary alignment to EU standards. That's what we need. Temporary or permanent, your pick, my friend, but we need one of those because that's going to help alleviate so many of the problems. So Frost comments further infuriated the European Commission. Simon Coveney, Ireland's foreign minister, suggested Frost had been more focused on media messaging in the UK rather than problem solving. But that's quite interesting because he wrote in the Financial Times, and only a certain group of people really read the Financial Times. So I think he was kind of putting out statements in order to take jabs at the EU, which the EU would definitely read. They're the kinds of people who would read the Financial Times. If he wanted to really go for a media messaging campaign, he would have written it for the Daily Mail. France's Minister for EU Affairs, Clement, suggested the UK minister had called into question the Northern Ireland Protocol, but added that it was not the problem; it is the solution that we have not created. So maybe there's a bit of a translation issue there, but the Northern Ireland Protocol is the solution to stop violence erupting in Northern Ireland. It has to be implemented properly. That's the key problem. One of the thorniest problems related to this arrangement is the need for controls on food of animal origin and plant entering Northern Ireland from Great Britain. I think typically you'd call them agri-foods. That's kind of the easier term for them, I think. The EU has proposed that nearly all checks at Northern Ireland's ports could be suspended with the UK if we agree to align with the bloc sanitary and sanitary rulebook, which is not hard. The fact is we still haven't deregulated massively our sectors, so we could still do this, but we're choosing not to because we want to chase unicorn deals with other countries that are going to add 0.01 or 0.02% to our GDP. But on Monday, Frost reiterated his rejection of any veterinary agreement that would force the UK to adopt EU law as it's developed. So what he wants is equivalency, but what the EU want us to accept is alignment. That's another key problem here. But in the end, in conclusion, what we can see is that the EU are offering minor concessions here to the UK over things like medicines and certain animal rights when it comes to pets, which is great stuff. Honestly, it is, because this will help people. You've got this paper here, this rag, the Express, saying that shame on you, Brussels. EU blocks life-saving cancer drugs from UK under post-Brexit rules, which in real terms, this without this kind of emotional trigger, makes sense that the EU would stop British medicines going into the EU would have rules stopping medicines from a third country getting into the EU unless they've been tested properly. We don't know if these drugs are EU standard or whatever. Probably are, because we've only just left. But the simple fact is, do you allow drugs in from a third country without things being checked properly? I don't know. But the reason why the EU have basically done this medicine thing, they've done this thing with medicines, is to stop headlines like this. I think that's one of the reasons why they've done it, and because then again, and this also helps people within Northern Ireland get the medicines they need. So that's great stuff here. But look, in conclusion, we can see that the EU are offering concessions. That's something Joe Biden wanted the EU to be less bureaucratic. That's, they've offered something at least, and it's not a bad concession either. When you think of how this is going to impact people, especially people with guide dogs and people who need the medicines. But anyways, I'm going to leave it there. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Like, comment, share, subscribe, and hopefully I'll see you in the next one.